ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेधसे, रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिं वन्दे लङ्काभयङ्करम्। नमोऽस्तु रामाय सलक्ष्मणाय देव्यै च तस्यै जनकात्मजायै। नमोऽस्तु रुद्रेन्द्रयमानिलेभ्यो, नमोऽस्तु चन्द्रार्कमरुद्गणेभ्यः। श्रियं पराभ्यां विदधद्विधातृचित्तमो निरस्य तमो निरस्यन्नभिभूतभानुभृत् नुदन्निदाघं जितचारुचन्द्रमाः सवन्द्यतेर्हन्निहयस्सिनोपमा। ॐ नमः परमहंसास्वादितचरणकमलचिन्मकरन्दाय भक्तजनमानसनिवासाय श्रीरामचन्द्राय ॐ. So on this auspicious Buddha Purnima day, we are again getting a chance to do some vichara of this great kavya of Ramayana, which is highly purifying in its contents, and as Rama Bhaktas, it's even more, what should I say, even more touching to us. We are in the fourth sarga of Valmiki Ramayana. Just did two shlokas in the earlier session. Let me just say those shlokas again. Praptarajasya Ramasya Valmikir Bhagavan Rishihi Chakara Charitam Kritsnam Vichitra Padamarthavat Chaturvimshat Sahasrani Shlokanam Uktavan Rishihi Tatha Sarga Shatan Pancha Shatkandani Tathottaram. So I was just going in some detail in the second shloka about the number of shlokas that is there. And things like that, whether Uttarakanda has been by Valmiki. Some views I tried to present, but I said, I mean, the main theme was that we have to, with an open mind, look into the 6 kandas and then the contents, the things, writing style, and the contents also of this book called Uttarakanda, and then let us decide individually for ourselves. Anyway, I don't want to extend into the topic further, so we will just proceed with the shlokas after that. We will try to finish the sarga today. I might have some comments to make at the end of the sarga, but I will postpone that to next session. Let's try to finish the sarga for now. So third shloka. कृत्वा तु तन्महाप्राज्ञः सभविष्य सहोत्तरं चिन्तयामास कोऽन्वेतत् प्रयुञ्जीयात् इति प्रभुः. So कृत्वा तु तत् कृत्वा means that Ramayana kavyam कृत्वा Mahaprajñah, that Valmiki of great intellect, Sabhavishya Sahottaram. So how did he do? He did it along with the future events, that is of the Uttarakanda. This Sabhavishya Sahottaram, here you can, so you can, this sa word is used twice, Sabhavishya and then Sahottaram. Here sa and saha mean the same thing, along with, it means along with. So in Telugu, when they write invitations in Telugu, so they write, so they invite that you have to come along with your family and friends. So how do they write in the invitation? Sakutumba Saparivara Sametam. So Sametanga Randi, that means along with your, Sakutumba means along with your family, and Saparivara means along with your friends. So the sa is already there. Sakutumba and Saparivara already means along with family and along with friends. Then Sametam is added again. So Sametam means along. So that Sametam is a redundant word. So Chinnajiyar Swamiji nicely explains this. Here he says Sametam. So Sakutumba, Saparivara, you please come along with friends and family. But if so many people come, we will not be able to provide food for so many people. So please come with your food also. Samet Telugu is like the grass that cows eat and things like that. So that kind of junk food you can say is meta. So if you are coming with all these people, you are welcome. But sameta along with food, please come. So he jokingly says. Anyway, this is like that. The Sabhavishya Sahottaram is something like that, but it's the prayoga of the Kavi. He does like that. Sabhavishya is along the future events, along with Uttarakanda. He wrote, having written Kritva, that Valmiki, what happened? Chintayamasa. He started wondering. He started having this, I wouldn't say anxiety, but this expectation. What was his expectation? Konvetat prayunjiyat. So who will learn this and spread it amongst other Mahatmas, other Rishis? This doubt was there in Valmiki's mind. This anxiety, let's say, was there in his mind. Konvetat. So this Prabhu is for that kaha. Which great person will listen to amongst all the in the world, who will spread this. Prayunjiyat means, so he learn and then explain or sing it to others in a sabha. He should be able to sing this and entertain the audience with this. So he thinking like that, and then happened, tasya chintayamanasya maharsher bhavitatmanah agrihitam tatah pado muni shilavo. So this Valmiki thinking like this, to that Valmiki, of that Valmiki feet. So tasya pado, the two feet of Valmiki, who was thinking like this, those 2 feet, 2 people suddenly come and hold on to those feet. Who are those 2 people? Of course, Kushilavo. So tasya chintayamanasya pado. So of that person who was thinking about how will this be spread and things like that, to that Valmiki, uh, so Maharshehe Bhavitatmanaha Pado. Maharshehe is that Maharshi Valmiki, and Bhavitatmanaha is Tilakakara says Bhavitatmana means his Antahkarana has become Shuddha. That such a Maharshi. Why has it become Shuddha? Because he has written this great epic called Ramayana. That Valmiki's feet to Padav. Tataha means thereafter, when he was thinking, while he was thinking, these 2 Munivesha, this Padav is Dvivachana anyway, that is for Valmiki's 2 feet. This Munivesha is also dual. So in Sanskrit, I don't know about other languages outside India, but within India, this dual, so Dvivachana, we say dual number, is there only in Sanskrit. So Ekavachana, Dvivachana and Bahuvachana. So 1, 2, 3 and more is Bahu. So Munivesha is these 2 boys who are in the guise of, who are in the garb of Munis. So that means, of course, he's going to tell in the shloka also, they are actually Rajaputras, but they are in the Vesha of Munis. And what is their names? What are their names? They are Kushilava. So actually we say Lava and Kusha, and it sounds like Lava is the elder brother. But as far as I know, I've heard Mahatma say like that Kusha is the elder brother. Kusha and Lava. So what is this Kushi Lava? So Kusha and Lava it should be. So this Ikara is Chandasa Prayog. Maheshwara Tirtha is saying Ikara is Chandasaha. So Chandasa Prayog. So in Telugu they use the expression Chandasa. Chandasa has now come to mean that it is orthodoxy. It has that kind of negative connotation. Chandasulu, they say, very orthodox people. But actually Chandasa means something related to Vedas. That's the idea. So this Kushi Lava is Vaidika Prayoga. So mind you, Valmiki is closer to that time. In fact, this is the first ever text, right? So the only literature that he has in front of him is Veda. So that influence is there heavily on him. So he is using such Vaidika Prayogas, Kushi Lava. So it should be Lava Kusha, Kusha and Lava, but always you see Kushi Lava keeps coming here in Valmiki Ramayana. This Lava and Kusha, how did they get their names? There's an interesting story to it. So it seems when Sita Devi delivered twins, so first child was delivered, and that child was brought to Valmiki. Or if you, so there are alternate stories also to say that actually they were not born in Valmiki's ashrama, they were born in Ayodhya itself. So there are stories like that where Sita's Parityaga is not accepted at all. Such stories also exist. In that context, you can say maybe Vashishta or some Muni did that. But the popular story is Valmiki, they were born in Valmiki's ashrama. So when they were born, so they come and show the first child to Valmiki. So there is a practice to bless the newborn child with kusha grass. So the darba grass, they put that grass on top of the head and bless. So what Valmiki did, he had darba grass in his hand. So he broke the darba grass, the tips he broke. He tore the grass and put it on top of that child's head. So, and then immediately another person brought, so actually not just one son, but twins are born. So they say that and bring the second child. So now he has to bless this child also. What did he do? The leftover, whatever darba was in his hand, because he cut a little and put it on the first child's hand. The second child, he kept on the second child's head, sorry, not hand, but second child's head, he put the leftover part of the darba. So this kusha being the grass itself, lava means leftover bits and pieces. So lava is that. So the leftover is, so he on whom the kusha grass was kept is called kusha, and he on whom the leftover piece of that kusha grass is kept is called lava. So lava and kusha, actually kusha and lava. That's how they. So who was brought first is called kusha, and who's brought second is called lava, because Valmiki blessed that way. And then there are other things also in Shastras. I think I don't know how they count who's the elder or the younger in twins in medicine or whatever in I don't know what's that field. So I mean, when in gynecology or whatever, traditionally they say the person who comes out first is the younger brother, and the first person who comes second is the elder amongst twins. Be that as it may, I mean, the popular notion is Kusha is the elder brother and Lava is the younger brother. So Kusha is somebody on whom Maharshi kept the Kusha grass, and I mean, he tore the Kusha grass and kept, and then Lava is somebody on whom the leftover, whatever part was left in his hand, that he kept. This kusha grass, mind you, is very important in our all our karma kanda and things like that. So you people also might have had the experience that the grass, so if you are wearing that darbha, what should I say, ring, you know, before any karma starts they wear, so that darbha ring, so darbha grass is very sharp. So if you just wear it just like that, it will even cut your finger. So what the Vadyar does, the priest, when he comes home, the first thing he does while he's talking to you, he will put that darbha ring in that patra of water. He will put it and keep for some time so that it softens. So if you put it directly, it cuts your finger. It's supposed to be very sharp, and that's how they used to use this darbha grass, the kusha grass, to cut the umbilical cord when the child is born. So in ancient times, because if you use metal, you know, it might lead to unnecessary consequences of septic and things like that. So in olden days, what they used to do is they used to cut the umbilical cord. It seems Tattvavedanta ji told me this. So they used to cut the umbilical cord. Olden days means very ancient times. Okay, so they used to cut the umbilical cord with this darbha. It used to be so sharp that if you cut it, it gets cut immediately. So that's how this sharp Kusha grass was. Anyway, so I told you the story behind how they got the names Kusha and Lava. So these Kusha and Lava came and held on to Valmiki's feet, and they held on with the intention that you please teach us this. So this shows that Kusha and Lava had the capability of understanding what was in their guru's mind. So this is very important. A Shishya should be able to, I mean, it's difficult to second guess a jnani, they say. That's true. But then also what your guru's wishes are, you should be able to recognize even before the guru explicitly says it. So these Kusha and Lava had that capability perhaps. That's why when Valmiki was thinking who will study this text, they came and held on to his feet. And then what happens? Kushi Lavau tu dharmagnau rajaputrau yashasvinau bhratarau swara sampannau dadarsha Dadarsha, this Dadarsha is he saw, Valmiki saw these Kushalava who come and touch his feet. He keeps seeing it, looking at them, and these people come and do pranam to him, and he also keeps looking at them. So all this, so a lot of Dvivachana comes in this sarga. So Kushilavau to Dharmagnyo. So this two you can say Muniveshau to Rajaputra. Two means on the other hand. So they are Muniveshau, they are in the garb of Muni, but on the other hand they are actually Rajaputra. So you can say like that. Kushilavau to Dharmagnyo. Dharmagnyo is they know what is dharma. So what is dharma in this context is how to give respect to your guru. That guru, what should I say, respect towards guru puja di dharma, they know. Such kind of Kushilava, Yashasvino. Why are they Yashasvino already? I mean, they are still kids, but already they have learned the Vedas and their memory and things like that are famous. So that kind of Yashas fame they have. Bhratarau, they are two brothers. Kusha and Lava are brothers, he's saying. Swara Sampannau. So they know. They are also, what should I say, they are experts in music, Sangeeta Shastra, they are expert in. Swara Sampanna is, they have a good voice, and they know the Swarasthanas and things like that. All that will come later in this sarga. So Ashrama Vasino, they are staying in his own ashrama, that Lava and Kusha, this Valmiki saw. Then Satu Medhavino Drishtva Vedeshu Parinishthito Vedopa Brahmanartha Yatavagrahayata Prabhu Satu Medhavino. So they are also Medha is so something that has been told to you. You should be able to retain it in your memory. That is Medha. That grasping or retention power is called Medha. These Kusha and Lava are Medhavi in the sense that they had that retention power. So all the Vedas back then it was like that. All the Vedas you had to keep it in your memory. And these people, Medhavi now, Visheshana adjective is being used to them because now they have to learn this entire Valmiki Ramayana by heart. So that is being indicated here. They are capable of by heart, by putting this all to memory, committing all of this to memory. So Medhavino Drishtva, having seen them, Vedeshu Parinishthito. So Vedeshu Parinishthito, I told you. So they have already studied the Vedas and they know that Veda, the mantras of the Vedas very well. So now what should you do? Vedopa Brahmanarthaya. So now they know the Vedas, but the meaning of the Vedas they should know. So how will you teach them the meaning of these Vedas? Valmiki thought the way I can teach them the meaning of the Vedas is through teaching them this Ramayana story. So that shows that if you study Ramayana, we will also be able to understand what is that Vedas meaning. So Vedopa Brahmanarthaya. So Upabrahmana means Vedasya Tattadarthe Tatparya Grahanam Tadrupaya Arthaya Prayojanaya. So so Upabrahmanarthaya means, so for making them know the meaning of the Vedas. For that tau agrahayata. So to them, to those two brothers, Valmiki taught this Ramayana, which he had composed before, that he taught to them. Kavyam Ramayanam Kritsnam Sitayash Charitam Mahat Paulastya Vadhamityevam Chakara Charitavratah. So this Kavyam Ramayanam, so this Ramayanam, so he is keeping three names. So some Mahatmas interpret it that way, that there are three names to this poem, which is Ramayanam and Sitayash Charitam and Paulastya Vadham. So there are three names to this story. That's how some Mahatmas say. And then Tilakakara is telling this is Ramayanam, majorly Ramayanam. And what kind of Ramayanam? It is, Ramayana means story of Rama. So this is a story of Rama, but what kind of story? The story of Rama in which Sita is also there. So Sitayash Charitam. Kritsnam means entirely, in its entirety, this is the story of Ramayana, but then it is also filled with the story of Sita. So Sitayash Charitam Mahat. Mahat means that great story of Sita. Or you can put Mahat to Mahat Kavyam Ramayana. So this is how Tilakakara is interpreting. I will come to Govindaraja has some nice comments to make here. I will come to that. So Ramayanam Kritsnam Sitayash Charitam. But then this is the contents of the story. And what is the name of the story? Tilakakara says the name of the story is Paulastya Vadham. Paulastya is Pulastya Brahma was there. So he's the son of Pulastya Brahma. I think somebody mentions that he is Ravana is Pulastyasya Gotrapatyam. So he comes in Pulastya Gotra. So like that, I mean, I don't remember. Pulastya, I think Vishravaso Brahma, his son is Pulastya, and Pulastya's son is Ravana, or maybe I'm telling the other way. Pulastya's son is Vishrava's son is Ravana. Maybe it's Vishravaso Brahma, Pulastya Brahma, I don't know. So these things are there. Pulastya Vadha, this Paulastya Vadha. Paulastya here means Ravana. So Paulastya Vadham is the name that Valmiki gives to his Kavyam. This is what Tilakakara is telling. The name of the text is called Paulastya Vadham, and the content is Ramayanam, Ramasya and then it is such a Ramayana in which Sita's story is also there. That is how Tilakakara is telling. Chakara Charitavratah. Chakara means he has composed. So he has composed. Who has composed this Charitavratah? Valmiki, who has. So Charitavratah means one who has engaged in many vratams. So such kind of Valmiki, that means he's a tapasvi. That's the meaning. Such a tapasvi Valmiki has written this Kavyam, Ramayanam Kavyam. So in this context, in this and in further shlokas, so Govindaraja goes into great detail of what is Kavya and this. So I told you in the introduction session, Kanta Samhita, Suhrit Samhita and Prabhu Samhita, these things he goes into, and then what's the Lakshanam of Kavyams, these things he discusses in detail. We will not be seeing that, of course, but he has. So Vaishnavas, Sri Vaishnavas have a nice view to what the contents of Valmiki Ramayana is. So Ramayana and Mahabharata, they say between them, Mahabharata, so they say there are two ways in which you can approach God. So one is through upaya, I mean one is through specific means. So what are those means? So karma, bhakti and jnana. Through these you can reach God. Of course, between this karma, bhakti and jnana, which is important, whether all three are important, these sub schools are there within Sri Vaishnava philosophy. So Vadakalai and Tengalai, they say. So these people, this is one of their points of difference between them. But then this bhakti, jnana and karma, these three form the upaya. So these upayas are mentioned in Mahabharata. And then Purushakara is there. Purushakara is mentioned in Ramayana, they say. What is Purushakara? Purushakara means, okay, all those margas I know I have to follow this path, but I'm a helpless person. I may not, this is the Vaishnava idea. I'm a helpless person. So I need some divine grace, some divine intervention, and that divine intervention is called Purushakara. And who does that intervention? Lakshmi Devi does that intervention for us. So that is their philosophy. So that Sitaya's Charitam shows that this is Purushakara Pradhana. So Purushakara means divine intervention by Lakshmi Devi. So Ramayana's essence, they say, is in Purushakara, is in showing how Sita Devi will, or how Lakshmi Devi will intervene on behalf of the Jivas. So in Ramayana also we can see that Sita Devi will intervene. So when these Rakshasis, so after Ravana Vadha happens, so Sita has to be taken back to Rama, and then Hanuman, I think, tells her that if you order me, I will put an end to all these Rakshasis. So Sita Devi will say, no, please don't do that. So she's a embodiment of she's mother, mother to everybody. So mother doesn't differentiate between a good son, a bad son, good daughter and bad daughter. For her, everyone is her children. So something, those sentiments come up. So keeping that in mind, Sri Vaishnavas say Ramayana describes Purushakara, and then Mahabharata describes Upaya. So Upayas are those three margas, it is presented there, whereas here it's purely we pray to Sita Devi as the mother for all of us, Lakshmi Devi as the mother, she will intervene on behalf of us. Of course, in their philosophy, there is this difference of opinion between whether Lakshmi Devi herself is a Jiva or whether she's of equal status with Narayana, and things like that are there. Of course, that's not the issue here. But I just wanted to tell you here because Govinda Raja therefore interprets this is actually Sitaya's Charitam. This is Kritsnam Sitaya's Charitam, but then Rama's story is also there here and there. So that's how he interprets it. So he also has a nice explanation for Ramayana. What does he say? So Ramayati ti Ramaha. So he who makes everybody happy is Rama. So Ramayati ti Ramaha. Or Ramante asmin sarve janaha iti Ramaha. So he in whom all people take delight, he is Rama. So such Rama sa ayyate pratipadyate aneneti Ramayanam. So Rama is known through which text, that is called Ramayanam. Ayyate. So Ramaha ayyate anena iti Ramayanam is how he gives the definition of Ramayanam. So otherwise the more commonly accepted way of interpreting is Ramasya Ayanam Charitam Ramayanam. Anyway, so some beautiful things I thought I will share with that. So the generally accepted view is it has three names: Ramayanam, Sitaya's Charitam and Paulastyavadham, or if you go by Tilakakara's Vyakhya, it is Paulastyavadham, in which the contents are Ramayana and Sita's Charitam, Sita's story and Rama's story. Also, some people say why Sitaya's Charitam had to be mentioned is because by then Sita Devi is already in Valmiki's ashrama, and Valmiki knows that Sita Devi has taken the blame. She's actually a blemishless person, a very pure person, purer than fire perhaps, but such a person had to take the blame of the world, and he was deeply moved by Sita Devi's life. In fact, it comes in Uttarakanda that later, I mean the story of Uttarakanda in the so-called Valmiki's Uttarakanda itself is completely different than what we generally see in movies and things like that. But anyway, so Valmiki, Sita, all of them go to Ayodhya in a particular context. So Lava is captured by Lakshmana and taken to Ayodhya. So in to bring back Lava or to save Lava, Kusha goes to Ayodhya and fights a war there and defeats Lakshmana. And then Valmiki and Sita also are Valmiki takes Sita Devi also to Ayodhya. There Valmiki says, or perhaps Rama himself says, that what I have done is great. I mean, he tells Valmiki, I have done a great mistake, please excuse me, and things like that. So Valmiki is deeply moved by what has happened to Sita Devi. So he wanted to prove to the world that actually Sita Devi is blemishless. So that's his main intention behind writing Ramayana, they say. That's why he put in Sitaya's Charitam also into the contents or the title of his work. So anyway, moving ahead, Pathyege cha madhuram pramanais tribhiranvitam जातिभिः सप्तभिर्युक्तं तन्त्रीलय समन्वितं रसैः शृंगार करुण हास्य रौद्र भयानकैः वीरादिभिः रसैर्युक्तं काव्यमेतदगायतां तौ तु गान्धर्वतत्त्वज्ञौ स्थानमूर्च्छन कोविदौ भ्रातरौ स्वरसम्पन्नौ गन्धर्वाविव रूपिणौ रूपलक्षणसम्पन्नौ मधुरस्वरभाषिणौ बिम्बादिवोत्थितौ बिम्बौ रामदेहात् तथा परौ. So पाठ्ये गेये च मधुरम. So this is something that is sweet to be just recited or to be sung also. Patya is to just read the text. Even while reading it is very beautiful, and even to sing madhuram, it is beautiful, sweet, madhuram. Pramanais tribhiranvitam. So what is this? So it has three pramanas, they say. So what is this pramana? Pramana is druta, madhya and vilamba. So So in music we see, so some music things come up in these shlokas. I will not go in great detail, though the commentators have written in great detail. I will not go into great detail, partially because I mean this is just information from reading or knowing indirectly. I am not a great singer myself, so and then not a technical singer anyway. If you learn Sangeetam, all these things perhaps are known. But this the three pramanas are Druta, Madhya, and Vilamba. Druta is fast pace, and Madhya is medium pace, and then Vilamba is very slow pace. So in music you have also have Ati Vilamba and things like extremely slow paced singing, things like that. So those three, I mean, it's possible to sing these shlokas in all the three paces or all the three speeds. So if you have some basic Sangeeta knowledge, you will know. So first speed, second speed, third speed, they say. First speed means ordinary speed, second speed means a little more faster, third speed means even more faster. So in one beat of a tala, how many swaras you sing? So that's how it's counted. So jatibhis saptabhir yuktam. So that is tribhi pramana. So three pramanas are that. Pramana is measurement. So the length. So that is pramana. So jatibhis saptabhir yuktam. So this, what are these sapta jatis? Jatis means swaras here. So those which are born. So this is, so shadjam is sa, so rishabham and things like that. I mean all the sapta swaras. So it is filled with sapta swaras. And tantri laya samanvitam. Tantri I told you earlier also, stringed instrument which is veena. And laya is with cymbals, with drums and things like that. Also it is possible to sing them. So tantri laya samanvitam. Rasaihi, so it is filled with all the navarasas, and he's mentioning some of them. Shringara rasa is there. Shringara is romance, perhaps. Karuna is sorrow or pathos. Hasya is comedy. Raudra is so ferocity or something like that. So the heroic kind of rasa. Bhayanaka is fear. So Bhayanaka rasa is there. Veera rasa, or Veera is heroism. Raudra is anger. So Veera rasa is there, heroism, and Veeradibhi. So by Veeradibhi you can take that all the other rasas that are left. That is Bibhatsa. Bibhatsa get a kind of I mean Jugupsa it's called. That is, I mean a distaste. So that is one kind of and all the Navarasas whatever are left. So these rasas are there, and then and such a kavyam which has all these rasas, they sang those Lava and Kusha. And then to Gandharva Tatvagna. Gandharva Vidya is music. So they know the essence of Gandharva. Murchana Sthana Kovidau is one patha, and Sthana Murchana Kovidau is one patha. So Murchana is generally the completion of a swara. That is, I mean, if you hit the right note for the swara, that means the swara is complete there. So something like that. That is Murchana. And Sthana is where is the swara? I mean, from where, which part you sing them. I mean, the what should I say? The Utpatti Sthana of the swara itself. So chest is one, throat, and then the lower part of the face. So the chin and things like that. So they say three sthanas, uraha, kantaha, and shiraha. So uraha is chest, kantaha is throat, and shiras is face. But then here it is explained as so the sthanas are something that is between hridaya granthi and below the cheeks. So in that you have to show three sthanas. So those three sthanas are the three places of origination for these swaras. So they know these things. Or you can say, so another explanation is being given, that is Murchana is Veena Vada Naipunyam. So Murchana is there. So this is capable of being sung to the Veena's tune and to the, what should I say, to Mridangam and things like that. That is okay. But are these people capable of singing like that? So that's saying, yeah, they are capable of using the Veena and singing. That is Murchana Kovida. And Sthana Kovida is they are so they can sing. This Sthana is so he's telling Mandra Madhyama Tarasthai. So they have something called Mandra. So it's called Mandarasthai, but actually Mandrasthai, and then Madhyamasthai and Tarasthai. That is pitch. So Madhyamasthai is the ordinary pitch in which we sing. Tarasthai is high pitch, and then Mandrasthai is low pitch. So all of them, if you practice well, they say all in the three pitches you can sing. So some great singers like Tyagaraja and Dikshitar, they have shown in their composition. So in their compositions they put in these three pitches, I mean they put swaras in these three pitches, and that shows that they were able to sing in those three pitches. Otherwise in the same song, why would they put swaras in the three pitches? The very fact that they put those swaras there in those three sthais shows that they were able to sing like that. So anyway, so these things are there, sthana and murchana. So, or I mean generally you can say murchana, sthana is, so this mandara sthai, madhya sthai and tarasthai, that is pitch, and then murchana is they were able to play these things on veena. That is one meaning. Bhratarau, they are two brothers, and swarasampannau, so they had nice, so all this is nice, but they have theoretically all they know, but can they sing also? So Gandharva Tattwajna means theoretically they know the Sangita Shastra, and but then they can also sing very well. Swarasampanno. And then Gandharvaviva Rupino, and even in their appearance they are as though they are looking like Gandharvas. So in Vedas these Apsarasas and Gandharvas come sight, I mean together always. So even in Medha Suktam, Apsarasu Chaya Medha Gandharveshu Chayanmanaha. So it comes like that. Wherever you see Apsaras and Medha Gandharvas, almost at every place come together. That's because music and dance go together, it seems. Tattvavedantaji says like that. So Apsarasas are experts in dancing, and Gandharvas are experts in singing. So dance and music go together. So they are also, to look at Kusha and Lava, to look at, they are like Gandharvas. And then Rupa Lakshana Sampanna, so they are having all the what should I say, as is described in Samudrika Shastra, their features are like that. So very good to look at. And Madhura Swara Bhashino, so they have a very sweet voice. So the Swara Sampanna is, they know the exact Swarasthanas, they are able to sing the perfect note. And Madhura Swara Bhashinos, they have a perfect or nice beautiful voice. So, and then Valmiki is revealing here who are they actually. They are like a image comes out of or a reflection comes out of the original thing. They are something that has come out of Rama. So yatha bimbad uttito bimbo, so from the reflection of the original reflection has come up, like that Rama Dehat uttito, so they have come out from Rama's body. That means they are Rama's children. So aparo Rama Dehat uttito, they are as though another Rama only, so something like that. So it shows that they are Rama's children. In these shlokas a lot of discussion is going on in the Vyakhya, to which I am not going into. Next, to proceed to the next shlokas. Tau Rajaputro Kartsnena Dharmyam सर्वं कृत्वा काव्यम अनिंदितौ ऋषीणांच द्विजातीनां साधूनांच समागमे यथोपदेशं तत्त्वज्ञो जगतु सुसमाहितौ महात्मानौ महाभागौ सर्वलक्षणलक्षितौ. So तौ राजपुत्रौ, those two princes, Kartsnyena dharmam akyanam. So Kartsnyena, so this is one of the so when two consonants come together, it's called samyukta akshara. So samyukta is so coming together of two consonants. This Kartsnya word is you see in that after ka you have a ta, you have a sa, you have a na, you have a actually you start with a ra, you have a ra, ta, sa, na and ya. So this is perhaps the longest known samyukta akshara in this Kartsnyena means completely. So completely dharmamakhyanam. So this Akhyanam story which is filled with dharma, so completely filled with dharma, and then also you can say completely they sang later when it comes, that singing thing comes. But Vacho Vidheyam means they have it in their words, that is they have it in their memory. It's not something that they are looking into the book and reading. So they have already learnt it in such a way that without a book also they can render it. So Vacho Vidheyam Tat Sarvam Kritva Kavyam Anindito. So those people they have sung all this. I'm looking for where the singing verb is. So Jagatuhu. So Jagatu Susamahito. So they sang, these two people, I mean these two, Lava and Kusha and Lava, they sang this. Where did they sing? Rishinancha Dvijatinam Sadhunancha Samagame. So Samagame means in an assembly where rishis are there, all these Dvijati, I mean so Brahmana, Kshatriya and Vaishyas are there, and Sadhu, the Tikakara is telling, Sadhu means those Paramahamsa sannyasis who have risen above the Varnashrama system. So those people are there, And yathopadesham means they have sung according to what has been taught to them. So upadesham anantikramya. So as Valmiki taught them, in the same way they also recited it. Yathopadesham tatvagno is they know the meaning of the Ramayana. Here you should say take tattva as that the intent or the import of Ramayana, purport of Ramayana, they know. Such two brothers, Jagattu Susamahito. So very nicely they sang in this assembly of rishis, etc. And then Mahatmano, Mahabhago. Mahatmano is they are those great people. Here you can say Mahatmano means those people who have nicely understood the story of Ramayana. And Mahabhago is extremely fortunate. These two people or extremely talented. You can say Bhaga is actually luck or fortune. Or here you can say it is Bhagya is Bhaga actually. So in Vedas we have Bhaga Suktam. So Bhagya Suktam. In Bhagya Suktam all this Bhaga word keeps coming. Bhaga there means actually luck. So here Bhagya you can also take that they are extremely talented. Sarvalakshana Lakshito we have seen earlier already. So they are beautiful to look at. All the Avayava Lakshanas are there. They are filled like that. The, so these Lava and Kusha sang in the assembly of all these sages. Then Tau kadachit sametanam rishinam bhavitatmanam madhye sabham samipastha vidam kavyam agayatam. Tau, those two brothers, kadachit means at some point of time, what did they do? Rishinam samipasthav. So near rishis, bhavitatmanam rishinam. That means those people, those rishis whose hearts are very pure. In those rishis, I mean amidst those rishis, madhye sabham, in the midst of a sabha which has these rishis, in that sabha, these people kavyam agayatam, they sang the kavya, this Ramayana kavya. तच्छ्रुत्वा मुनयः सर्वे बाष्पपर्याकुले क्षणाः साधु साध्वितितावूचुः परं विस्मयमागताः. तच्छ्रुत्वा मुनयः सर्वे, all those munis having listened to that kavya, what happened? So they were extremely moved by the kavyam. So they were so moved that they started having tears in their eyes. So bashpa paryakule kshanaha, that means their eyes were filled with tears. They were so amazed by this story of Ramayana. Vismayamagataha, I mean extremely amazed. I mean what a beautiful work that Valmiki has written and what a beautiful way these people have sung. So now, as of now, they are praising the work and they will later praise the singers also. So Vismaya here is, I mean, amazement at the way it was written by Valmiki. Sadhu sadhviti tavuchuhu. Those munis, they said sadhu sadhu. Sadhu means, oh, like in music they say shabash. So sadhu means very nice. So sadhu sadhu. So this vipsa, this repetition is there. That's to show that they were extremely happy. I mean, they were extremely moved. And then te prita manasa sarve munayo dharmavatsalaha. I mean, this should have gone with the previous line. That is, those prita manasaha, those munis whose hearts were filled or moved by the rendition of Ramayana, all those munis, dharmavatsala. So all these munis, sadhu sadhviti tavuchu. That's the meaning. These munis said sadhu sadhu upon listening to that Ramayana. Sarve muneha dharmavatsala. Dharmavatsala is nicely explained. Dharmavatsala means dharmaswarupaha and vatsalaha. Dharmaswarupaha means they are embodiments of dharma, and vatsalaha means they are having vatsalya bhava towards Lava and Kusha. I mean they are so happy at looking at Lava and Kusha that they are praising them as though they are their own children. So how are they praising them? प्रशस्तव्यो गायमानो कुशीलवौ अहो गीतस्य माधुर्यं श्लोकानांच विशेषतः चिरनिर्वृत्तमप्येतत् प्रत्यक्षम् इव दर्शितम्. So prashasamsuho. So these munis are praising them. Prashastavyo means they are worthy. Those two brothers are worthy of praise. Such brothers, these people are praising also. And why are they praising? Because gayamano, because they have been singing. So these two brothers who have sung this entire story of Ramayana, these munis are praising them. And how are they praising? Aho gitasya madhuryam. So oh, wonderful is this sweetness of this song of Ramayana. Shlokanancha visheshataha. So the way they have sung is very beautiful, and the way the shlokas have been written, that is also very beautiful. Chiranirvrittam apyetat pratyaksham iva darshitam. This is very true in the case of Ramayana. That is, so Chiranirvrittam means this, though the story of Rama happened long back, still pratyaksham iva darshitam. Valmiki has written this story as though it's happening right in front of our eyes. So Chiranirvrittam, I should have said this in the previous class, previous session. I don't know if I said it, so I'm repeating it. That is, they say how many years did Rama rule. So of course this is Atishayokti is there here. So Rama ruled, they say, for 11,000 years. Dashavarsha Sahasrani, Dashavarsha Shatani cha. So this has so 11,000 years he lived. Of this 11,000 years, so I don't know how much we will be able to finish the sarga today, but let me make these comments. Though I wanted to finish the sarga, so of these 11,000 years, how many years did Rama and Sita be separated? If you look at it, so when Vishwamitra comes to Ayodhya to take Rama and Lakshmana with him, so he comes to take Rama and Lakshmana also comes along. At that time, Rama is around 16 years of age. Dasharatha himself says, Una Shodasha Varsho me Ramaha. So he says Rama has not yet completed even 16 years. So you can say 15 running, something like that. So around 16 years Rama was. And then Sita Devi says later, um, so Sita Devi says to Hanuman in Sundarakanda that after wedding she stayed Sama Dwadasha Varsha, Varsha, so she says for 12 years I stayed in Dasharatha's house. So 12 years, so 16 plus 12, Rama was 28 years when he went to Vanavasa, and they say the age difference between Rama and Sita was 10 years. So Sita Devi was 18 years and Rama was 28 years when they left for and Vanavasa was for 14 years, in which 13 years they were together. In fact, I think 13 years and 1 month or 13 years and 2 months, something like that, they were together. Only that last 1 year or 10 months they were separated. Then again they joined together. And then even if you accept the story of Sita Parityaga, so far they have been separated only for 8 months, so 10 months to 1 year. So they have been separated. Of course, before wedding they were separated anyway. So 1 year you can take, and then by the time Lava and Kusha, Rama meets them and they are made the kings, so by then they are already 10 to 12 years, something like that. So that means Sita Devi was abandoned by Rama, if you accept the story, when she was Garbhavati. So she was Garbhavati means she was pregnant with Lava and Kusha. So when was she? So by the time Lava and Kusha Rama meets, they are 10 remember 10 to 12 years. So let's say 13 years so Sita was in Vanavasa, I mean Sita was abandoned by Rama, and that was 13 years. So totally about 14 11,000 years that Rama lived. Only 14 years they were separated. Anyway, I will tell this. So my intention is to show that even if you accept they were 10 years, around 10 years when they were singing this Ramayana, so all this story happened about 11,000 minus 10 years back, so long the story, was. Still these people have explained it to us as though it has happened, just in front of our eyes. That's how beautifully Valmiki has written, and that we will discover even when we are reading the text. So they praise the text like that. That's such a beautiful text that though it's so old, yet it as though it is a live commentary Valmiki is giving. Then Pravishyatavubhau sushtu tatha bhavamagayatam. So how did they sing? So Lava and Kusha sang as though they have entered into the bhava, the mood of the poem. They have entered into the poem and sung. So that means they were so involved in their singing. That's the meaning. Pravishya bhavam agayatam. So bhavam pravishya agayatam. That's the meaning. They entered into the mood, and sushtu means very nicely, agayatam, or sushtu pravishya agayatam. So they nicely entered into the mood of the poem and sang it, or you can say they nicely sang it having entered into the mood of the poem. Tavubhav means those two brothers. Sahitau madhuram raktam sampannam swarasampada evam prashasya. So Sahitau madhuram raktam sampannam swarasampada. Sahitau means together, Lava and Kusha together. So madhuram, very beautiful. And then raktam here means, so it's nice to listen. So to the ears it's very pleasant to listen. And sampannam swarasampada. So swarasampada sampannam, that's the meaning. So it's filled with many of swaras. That is very musical. So like that, these two brothers together they sang. That's how the Muni said. So 17, 18, and the first half of 19. These 5 lines you have to understand together. This is the praise of those Munis. Now, evam prasasyamano tapashlaghir maharshibhi samrakta taramatyartham madhuram tavagayatam. So those prasasyamano tau evam prasasyamano means thus they have been praised by those munis, these Lava and Kusha. So by who have praised them? tapashlaghyehi maharshibhihi. They have been praised by these maharshis who are tapashlaghyehi. That means they are great tapasvis. That's the meaning. Tapashlaghyehi means they have achieved greatness by their tapas. So such maharshis have been praising them. Samraktataram atyartham madhuram tavagayatam. So tavagayatam, those two people have sung. How did they sing? Samraktataram, extremely melodious, extremely beautiful way. Atyartham means filled with great meaning. Madhuram means beautiful, sweet. So like that, these people have sung. So having sung now, so these munis will give them a lot of gifts because they are so moved. So when you are happy, in some given incident, so you just donate whatever you have. You don't even consider the situation that you are in and things like that. Just you are happy and give. So in olden days, it seems they used to do like that. Maharaja, if you are happy, if you sing a shloka or something on him, he will be happy, and immediately whatever he's wearing on the neck or some ring or something, he will immediately remove and give it off to him. So like that, he does that. So even it seems in Bhagavatam they say when Krishna was born, Vasudeva. So I'm giving an example to show that you don't even count the circumstances you are in. You just you're so happy that you want to give something. So in the mind, it seems Vasudeva donates some 1,000 cows or something like that. So he's actually in a jail. He's not even in a position to donate these things, and he doesn't even know. As of then, he doesn't even know what he will do with this son, because Kamsa will anytime come and kill him. But then he's so happy that in his mind he will donate so many cows. So something like that. So these rishis are also very happy and they will give a lot of things. So let us see these things very quickly. What are they giving? Pritah kaschin munistabhyam samstitah kalasham dadau. So Kaschid Munihi, one of those munis, so he was very happy. Pritah tabhyam kalasham dadau. So to them he gives kalasha. So samstitaha means he gets up. By then, they were sitting and listening to this. Now he gets up suddenly. He's so happy by the rendition, and he gives them a kalasha. Kalasha is that water pot. He gives them. Prasanno valkalam kaschid dadotabhyam mahayashaha. So another mahayashaha, great muni of great fame. He is also very happy. Prasannaha. And what does he do? Valkalam dadau. Tabhyam valkalam dadau. Valkalam we have seen before also. Diyatam valkalam tata we have seen in second sarga. So valkalam means a particular bark of a tree which you can wear as a cloth. That kind of bark he has. So whatever they have, they are giving. This first muni had a kalasha with him that he's giving away. This muni is giving away his valkala, and then Anyah Krishna Jinam Dadyad Yajna Sutram Tatha Paraha. So Anyaha, another rishi, gave them Krishna Jinam. Krishna Jinam is the deer skin. So brahmacharis are supposed to wear deer skin. So that one of the rishis gave, and then another rishi gave them Yajna Sutram. So he had some spare Yajnopavitams with him. So he gives that. So you see that he's just giving. These rishis are so happy that they are giving whatever they have with them. So and then we're very simple people. These rishis are living in forest. So whatever they have with them, they are giving. Kaschit kamandalum pradan maunji manyo mahamunihi brisimanyastada pradat kaupinam aparo munihi. So one of those rishis is giving them kamandalu. So another muni is giving them maunji. Maunji is this belt of darbha grass. So brahmachari are supposed to wear this belt of darbha grass. So during Upanayanam, they make us wear something that we have to wear always, but of course it's not feasible perhaps these days. So Maunji Bandhanam, they say that is a whatever ritual that they do during Upanayanam. Maunji is this belt made of grass. So that Maunji somebody gives him. Then of course all these Mahamuni things like that comes. They're all adjective to each of those munis. So Brisi Manyaha. So another muni gives him Brisi. Brisi means the asana on which rishis sit. So a general asana. Another specific asana will come later. So Brisi, one of those munis gives them Brisi. And then Kaupina, another muni gives him Kaupina. Kaupina is the loin cloth. So he gives them a spare loin cloth, or rather a nice new loin cloth he gives them. Tabhyam dadau tada hrishta kutharam aparo munihi. Another muni gives them kuthara. Kuthara is axe. So that muni perhaps just cut some twigs or wood and came and sat and listened to that. So he was so happy that kuthara he gives them. Okay, take this axe. So kashayam aparo vastram chiramanyo dadau munihi. So another muni is giving them kashaya vastram. So kashaya vastram is that ochre cloth. So even brahmacharis can wear kashaya vastram, which this muni is giving them. Another muni is giving them chiram. Chira is just a cloth. So the one cloth piece he is giving them. And then Jatabandhanamanyas to Kashtarajumudanvitaha. Another Muni is giving them Jatabandham, Jatabandha. So Jata is, that matted hair that you have. So um, brahmacharis are not supposed to comb their hair, so up till, so during the wedding, just before the wedding, they do this one ritual in which all these things are, I mean, they show the brahmachari mirror, they make him comb his hair, apply oil and things like that. These things the brahmachari was not supposed to do, which shows that he was supposed to not mind all these cosmetic things and beauty and things like that. He's supposed to dedicatedly study, therefore these things are not there. So what happens is, because a long hair is there, so you have to tie up that hair with something, so that the jatabandha is that which is used to tie up the hair, so which is useful to brahmacharis. See, some of these are useful, some of these are not useful, but the munis are not minding that. They are just happily giving spontaneously what comes to their heart, they are giving. So jatabandhanam, one muni gives a jatabandhanam. And then kashtarajjum, so jatabandhanam kashtarajjum, you can say. So kashtarajju is, so thread made of some wood, so some fibrous thread with which you tie your head, that one muni gave. So kashtarajju, one of the vyakhyakas, I am not able to spot here, but he says, so I think palasha kashta, if you use palasha, is a particular kind of tree, that kashta is used. I remember reading like that somewhere. So kashtarajjum jatabandhanam. So that jatabandhanam, something to tie your hair, some band to tie your hair, that which is made up of fibrous thread, so that somebody is giving them. And then yajna bhandam rishih kaschit kashthabharam tathaparaha. So one of those rishis is giving them yajna bhandam, one vessel which is used during yajna, that he is giving. Then kashthabharam, so like I said, so these people perhaps cut some wood, some wood in the forest and came and sat in the ashrama. So this one of those munis has a pile of wood with him, so that pile of wood he just gave them, okay, you take this. So they are all very happy. Audumbarim Brisimanya Swastike Chittadavadan. So another Muni gives him Audumbari Brisi. So I told you a general asana before, and this is Audumbari. Audumbarim Brisi means, Brisi means, so Udumbara is fig tree. So an asana, Rishi's asana made out of fig tree, that one Rishi gives him. And then another Rishi, perhaps he doesn't have right now anything in his hand, so he's just blessing them. Swastike Chittadavadan. So Tada Swasti Vadan. So that means, so he is blessing them, may good happen to you, like that he is telling. Ayushyam apare prahur mudatatra maharshayah. So maharshayah, apare maharshayah, some other maharshis who perhaps don't have anything right at that moment in their hand, so they are blessing them. So with muda means with great happiness, they are blessing them. Please, may you live long, things like that they are saying. Ayushyam, ayushyam means dirghayushman bhava, something like that they are saying. So I just want to make a comment. They say Ayushman Bhava when they are blessing. Perhaps you should, I mean, saying Ayushman Bhava is tautology. Everybody, Ayushman means be somebody who has a lifespan. Everybody has some lifespan, small or big, everybody is Ayushman. So you should say Dirghayushman Bhava. May you have a long lifespan. So anyway, so Ayushyam apare prahur muda tatra maharshayah. So out of great happiness, they are saying, may you live long. Then Dadushchaivam varan sarve munayas satyavadinaha. So satyavadinaha munayaha. So these munis who are satyavadins, that means they speak the truth. These munis, some of them, so they are saying, they are giving them various kinds of boons. So I mean, I can give you anything, some boons, but what's the guarantee that it will fructify? For that he is telling they are satyavadinaha. So I'm giving, so some munis bless them with some boons, and those blessings are helpful or meaningful or worthy because they are satyavadinaha. They never speak untruth. So if you don't speak untruth, so whatever you say also comes true. They say like that. So those rishis are giving, I mean, they are blessing them with various varas. Then Ascharya, so then they are saying Ascharyam idam akhyanam munina samprakirtitam param kavina madharam samaptam cha yathakramam abhigitam idam gitam sarva gitishu kovidau. So Ascharyam idam akhyanam, the story is wonderful, amazing. Ascharyam Munina Samprakirtitam, composed by this Muni, Valmiki Muni. So Param Kavina Madharam, again very prophetic, very true. So this will be the basis for all the future Kavis. So they are saying like that. So Samaptam cha Yathakramam. So like it has started, it has ended also that way. So Yathakramam Samaptam. So like, I mean, he has began it in a particular way, and then he ended it also accordingly. Not like he started something and then left it loose, something like, I mean, he left some loose ends, so those loose ends are not there. He finished as he started, so completely comprehensively he has written. That's the meaning. Abhigeetam idam geetam sarvageetishu kovidau. So sarvageetishu kovidau, these two Rajaputras who are experts in singing, so all kinds of songs, things like that. So those people sang this song. That's the meaning. Abhigeetam idam geetam sarvageetishu kovidau. And then how is this? So how is this kavyam? Ayushyam pushtijananam sarvashruti manoharam. So Abhigeetam Geetam Sarvagītishu Kovidau Ayushyam Pushtijananam Sarvashruti Manoharam. So these people sang this kavya, and what kind of kavya this is? This is Ayushyam, that which gives you long life without any illnesses and things like that, and Pushtijananam, that which nourishes you. So nourishes the heart and the soul and body, all these things it nourishes. So such a kind of kavya. Sarvashruti Manoharam. Sarvashruti Manoharam means it's very pleasing to the ears of all who listen to it. So Sarvashruti Manoharam. Then what happens? Prashasyamano sarvatra kadachit tatra gayakau rathyasu rajamargeshu dadarsha bharatagrajaha. So this dadarsha bharatagrajaha. Bharatagrajaha is Rama. So usually Valmiki, if he has to say Rama, sometimes he uses the word bharatagrajaha. So he can say Lakshmanagrajaha also. But if you say Lakshmanagrajaha, there is ambiguity. Lakshmanagraja can be Bharata also, Rama also. So if you say Bharatagraja, there is no ambiguity. It means Rama, because only Rama was elder to Bharata. So Bharatagrajaha Dadarsha. Rama saw these two people, Gayakau, these two singers, Prashasyamano, who have been attaining lot of fame Sarvatra Prashasyamano. They are attaining fame everywhere. So such Gayakau, singers, Kadachit. So Kadachit means at some point in time, somewhere, Rama saw. Kadachit means at some point in time, Rama saw these people. Where did he see? Rathyasu Rajamargeshu. Rathyasu means the path in which Rathas go. That means they are huge, huge roads. Ratha, if a Ratha has to go, it can't be a small lane. So in those huge lanes, Rajamargeshu. So Rajamarga means King's Way. So today we have in Delhi something called Rajpath. So that is this Rajamarga, the path or the path in which the king used to be called King's Way before independence. Now it's called Rajpath, the place where the Republic Day parade happens. So this is something like that. Rajamarga means the path through which the king goes. So in that path, Rama happens to see them. We are close to time, but let me just finish these shlokas. It's not much deep, but I have some comments to make at the end, which I will make in the next session. So let me just finish them. So he saw them. Having seen them, what did he do? Swaveshmachaniya tato bharatarau sa kushi lavau pujayamasa pujarho ramashatru nibarhanaha. So the Shatru nibarhanaha is Rama. It's an adjective to Rama. Rama Shatru nibarhanaha is Rama who puts an end to all the Shatrus. Such Rama, what did he do? Swaveshma aniya. So Swaveshmacha aniya, he brings them to his own palace. So to his house, that is to his palace, he gets them, and then he gets them. Who does he get? Bhratarausa Kushilava. Saha Ramaha, that Rama, Swaveshmachaniya, he got them to his palace. Whom did he get? Bhratarau Kushilava. These two brothers, Kusha and Lava, he gets them to the palace, and then what does he do? And these are also Pujarhau. This Kushilava are worthy of respect, and that Pujarhau Pujayamasa. So he also, he does some satkara to these kavis, to these singers. So Pujayamasa means he does satkara. This Rama does some satkara to these Kusha and Lava. That means he brings them to the palace and then does some satkara. And then what happens? Asinah kanchane divye sacha simhasane prabhu upopavishtai sachivair bhratubhishcha samanvitaha. So drishtva tu rupa sampannau vinito bhrataravubbhau uvacha lakshmanam rama shatrughnam bharatam tatha shuruyatame tadakhyanam anayor devavarchasoho vichitrarthapadam samyak gayakau samachodayat. So asinah kanchane divye. So kanchane divyane simhasane. So in that beautiful amazing simhasana made of gold, asinaha. So he sits in that simhasana. That Prabhu who is Rama. So he sits in that simhasana, and sachivaihi upopavishtai bhratrubhishcha samanvitaha. So he's surrounded by his ministers and brothers who are also sitting beside him. Upopavishtai means sitting around him or beside him. And who are sitting beside him? Sachiva and Sachivas are mantris, and Bhratrubhihi means along with his brothers. So he's sitting, and then Drishtva tu Rupa Sampannau Vinito Bhratara Ubhau. So he looks at those brothers, Kusha and Lava, Rupa Sampanno, very beautiful to look at, and Vinito, very humbly they are standing there. Bhratara Ubhav, those two brothers, Drishtva, and then having seen them, he tells something to Lakshmana, Shatrughna, and Bharata. So Uvacha Lakshmanam, Shatrughnam, Bharatam. So Ramaha Uvacha, Rama tells to Lakshmana, Bharata, and Shatrughna. What does he say? Shruyatam etadakhyanam anayor devavarchasoho. Devavarchasoho is these people are having that glow as though they are devatas. So devavarchas they have. So listen. So shruyatam etadakhyanam anayoho etadakhyanam shruyatam. He's telling his brothers and ministers. So please listen to the story that these people are going to tell. So and how, what kind of story it is? Vichitrartha padam samyak gayakau samacho. So Vichitrartha padam. So it is filled with which is filled with beautiful words and meanings and I mean nice words with alliteration and things like that, and meaning and words pregnant with meanings. So such, it's filled with such words, and samyak gayako, and they are also singing it very nicely. So samyak gayako samachodayat. So by these words telling to Lakshmana, I mean to his brothers and ministers, that please listen to them, he's telling that by that, through that gesture, he's also, what should I say, he's gesturing even to these singers that you sing. So he's telling his brothers and ministers to listen, and that means he's telling also the singers to start singing. Then tauchapi madhuram raktam swachittaya taniswanam तंत्रीलयवदत्यर्थम विश्रुतार्थमगायताम. So Tauchapi, those brothers also, what did they sing and what did they do? They sang, and how did they sing? Madhuram. Madhuram means sweet. Raktam. Raktam means, like I said, very pleasing to the ear. Swachittayata niswanam. So Swachittayata niswanam means they sang in a tone or a pitch or volume which is I mean as to the best of their capability they sang, because there are a lot of people and they should hear, you know. So Swachittayata niswanam means they sang in a tone which is to the best of their capability. And Tantri Laya Vadatyartham, so they sang it along with Tantri and Laya, that means along with that stringed instrument and with some cymbals or something to keep Talam. So along with it they sang Vishrutartham, so it has a deep meaning, such kind of poem, Agayatam. So and how did they sing? Hladayat sarvagatrani manamsi hridayani cha shrotrashraya sukham geyam tadbabhau janasamsadi. So tat kavyam babhau janasamsadi. They sang in that assembly of people. And how is it? How did they sing? Hladayat sarvagatrani. Sarvagatrani means to all. So gatrani means gatra means body. To all bodies it is causing happiness. That means to everybody it is causing happiness. Manamsi hridayanicha. So not only to the, I mean to everybody it's causing happiness, means how? Through making their minds and hearts happy. So they are singing like that. Shrotrashraya sukham. So the shrotrashraya is ear. So ashraya for shrotra means shrotrendriyam, that is ear. So it's very nice to hear. So such kind of geyam means song, they sang, those two people in the assembly of people, Jana Samsadi. इमौ मुनि पार्थिव लक्षणान्वितौ कुशीलवौ चैव महातपस्विनौ ममापि तद्भूतिकरं प्रचक्षते महानुभावं चरितं निबोधता. So Nibodhata, Rama is telling, please listen. So Imau Muni, so Imau is these two people. Muni also means two Munis. So Muni here is Dvivachanam. So Imau Muni means these two Munis. Parthiva Lakshananvito. So they are Munis, but they are having Lakshanas of a king. So Parthiva is a king. So Parthiva Lakshananvito means they are looking like princes. Though they are Munis, they are looking like princes. Kushilavau, their names are Kusha and Lava. Kushilavau cheva Mahatapasvinau, they are looking like Mahatapasvins, and they also did this great tapas of studying this entire Ramayana. Mamapi Tadbhuti Karam. So this Ramayana is so great that even to me it gives great fame. So it increases my fame also. So such kind of, so Rama is already the famous king, you know, emperor of that land. Still, this is so beautiful that it increases my fame even more. So Mamapi Tadbhutikaram Prachakshate. They are singing this Ramayana which causes my fame, which increases my fame also. Mahanubhavam. Mahanubhavam means, so that's Mahanubhavam, you can go in some detail, which is what I will slightly touch upon in the next session. For now, just take Mahanubhavam means that which is filled with great meaning. Mahanubhavam Charitam Nibodhata. So that story which these people are singing. Please listen, all of you. That's what he's telling. Oh, there is one more shloka I didn't see. Tatastu tau Rama vachah prachodita vagayatam marga vidhana sampada sachapi Ramah parishad gatashanair babhushaya sakta mana babhuva tatastu tau Rama vachah prachoditau. So they have been engaged by Rama. I mean, they have been gestured to by Rama or nudged by Rama to sing. So they also happily sang, those two people. Um, so Agayatam, how did they sing? Marga Vidhana Sampada. So this Marga and Deshya, there are two ways of singing. So Marga is that which is so Marga is as if I remember rightly, maybe I'm wrong, but Marga is that which is in Sanskrit, and Deshya is something that which is in Pali. I didn't see the shloka actually, but I'm telling the meaning. If there are any changes, I will tell you in the next session. So Marga Vidhana Sampada, that is they are filled. I mean they are in Sanskrit language. That's the meaning. Sachapi Ramah Parishad Gatashanair Bubhushaya Saktamana Bubhuva. So he also, Rama also, so he also slowly started getting, I mean, as he's listening, the more he's listening, the more interested he became in this story. So that's the meaning. I will just touch upon 35, 36 in the next session. Anyway, so we will end here. Ityarshe Srimad Ramayane Valmikiye Adi Kavye बालकांडे चतुर्थ सर्गः ओम यत्र यत्र रघुनाथ कीर्तनं तत्र तत्र कृतमस्तकाञ्जलिं बाष्पवारि परिपूर्णलोचनं मारुतिं नमत राक्षसान्तकम् ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ओम शांति 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 हरिः ओम तत्सत्. So if there is anything you want to ask,